Welcome to another video. So in this video we are going to be talking about some books about love. And yes, Valentine's Day is long over, but you know what? This is a month of love. So we are going to take that as an opportunity for me posting about this video. So first, I'm just going to divide this video into two parts. The first part is just me going to talk about romantic love books that feature romantic love. Not all of them are going to be, books like contemporary romance. I am going to be mentioning fantasy romance as well. And the next part is going to be about books that are not traditionally you would find in the romance section. And so let's go. So hi, my name is Shalini and I talk about books here. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. And I hope you stay here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the notification bell so that you can get regularly updated on when I post next. Or if you're not new to my channel, then welcome back. So the first books, actually plural, I'm going to be mentioning are, wait, do I have these here? So yes. So the first books are definitely going to be Helen Hoang's books, The Kiss Quotient, Bright Test, and The Heart Principle. I miss Helen's writing so much. My favorite of these books is The Kiss Quotient. Kiss Quotient is about Stella, who works as accountant numbers. She does something with numbers, and she doesn't have time for romance. And I think she's also like a virgin. That's how she's depicted. I think it has been such a long time since I've read that book. So she basically needs the girlfriend experience, so to speak. So she doesn't know how to be a girlfriend. And I think her mom is also pushing her to get married or something like that. So that's why she, dating is too much for her. And that's why she hires Michael, who is a male escort, to teach her about, how to be a girlfriend, the A to Z of being a girlfriend. And Michael's case is that he doesn't do repeat customers, but he needs money and badly. So that's why he agrees. And so in this way, repeat visits, they grow close together. It also has a really good autistic rep as well as Vietnamese rep. And I just loved the writing and the chemistry between Michael and Stella. I actually would recommend you read all three of these books. They are interconnected, in a way, the characters are related. The Bright Test features Kai, who is the cousin of Michael from The Kiss Quotient, and also the Heart Principle's male protagonist also is related to Michael or Kai, I think. These are, should I even say underrated? I didn't check the ratings on Goodreads, but yeah, these are so good. The next book that I'm going to be talking about is Ghost Walk by Cassandra Gannon. This is another book that I haven't seen much on, Insta or anywhere else. And it follows a ex-detective, or like a profiler. Something happened to her at work which made her quit her job, and she now works as a tour guide. While she's giving a tour, there is a ghost of a Scottish pirate, and he's just talking because he doesn't expect anyone to obviously answer him. And she does answer him. He's overjoyed at this idea that he has finally found someone who can not only see him but actually communicate with him. And so with our protagonist, both of them, the ghost and our female protagonist, they kind of go on this ride, time travel with her detective skills to find out what exactly happened to him in the past, because he keeps saying that he did not like kill all those people that he was accused of killing. He is like notoriously famous for like serial killing people in the past, and the reason why he's still a ghost because he's not at peace. They have like excellent banter, like great chemistry, and I also loved the time travel aspect of it. So yeah, I highly recommend you go check this book out. The next book that I want to talk about is Sing Me to Sleep by R.M. Virtues. I'm going to be talking about two R.M. Virtues. I do think like both of these are pretty underrated, and because not only have I not seen them much, and also the ratings are also like pretty low, so I need more people to pick these books up. Sing Me to Sleep follows our protagonist who has sleep paralysis. Something really tragic happened to her, and she can't sleep because of that. And so she, like a sleep paralysis demon, sort of visits her, and it's also forbidden for the demon to visit her, but he does. He kind of helps her overcome the fear. So soon she starts to kind of sleep well. And also the accident that I mentioned, that the reason why she, has having trouble to sleep, he also helps with that. And the romance is also like, just go read it. It is so good. It is like steamy as well, and like I really need more people to pick this book up. Another book by R.M. Virtues that is criminally underrated is a Hades Persephone retelling. Hades is black, so is Persephone, and Persephone is also trans, which I don't think I have seen in any other books. Like, I have read so many Hades Persephone retellings, but this is probably the best in my opinion. So Hades is like a casino owner, and Persephone is like, she has fled from Zeus and now is working as a dancer at Hades' casino. Excellent steamy scenes. The romance is top notch. Like, the chemistry is on fire. It's just it like is more on the side of erotic romance. So if that is your thing, if you don't mind reading that, then I highly recommend you check both of these out. So the next book that I want to talk about is a fantasy romance that has this it's called an epistolary romance, I believe, and also has excellent world building, and the chemistry between these two protagonists are just like So the book that I'm talking about is The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. So it takes place in a world where it's sort of like it's like a Western fantasy romance. So you have Hart, who works as a marshal. His job is to basically, kill these zombies that are terrorizing the town. And Mercy works as an undertaker. So both of them like kind of can stand each other, but unbeknownstly to both of them, they start to exchange letters, and that's how they fall in love. I absolutely love the banter. I also loved the periods where they exchange letters. He's also a demigod, so there's that aspect to it. So if you love fantasy romance with good banter, chemistry, then go read this book. Next book that I want to talk about is Bound to the Battle God by Ruby Dixon. Okay, so I read this years ago. Somebody recommended it. I saw it on a Reddit thread, and the cover, I'm sorry to say this, I hope the cover designer is not watching this video. No shade, but just in my opinion, the cover was not good. So I kind of like didn't want to read it, but I'm so glad I eventually got to reading it because it is so good. Like it features basically like a battle god, and he has like been struck from the heavens. I don't know how else to say it. So this is kind of like a fallen angel aspect. So God wants to teach him a lesson. God, like the heavenly father, okay, so the big boss is basically pissed with all these gods. So the first god, this battle god, whose story we are reading, talking about, is he is now in like no longer immortal. He is mortal. And but here's the thing, here's a twist. He has these four aspects. Okay, so the aspect, each book has separate aspects we follow, separate gods as well as separate aspects. In this book, Battle God, the main character we follow, he has this arrogance aspect to it. There are other aspects as well, like what's it called, head he the one who indulges like in everything. There's also aspect of lies, arrogance, and so he has to basically, one aspect has to kill the rest of the aspects. That's sort of like the plot. And also, to anchor him to this mortal realm, there needs to be like a human. And it's not too hard for the human, because the human will basically die if the aspect cannot fulfill his duties. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure even I'm trying if I can explain it correctly. That's basically the plot, explained in a ridiculously bad way. But go read the book. It is long. It is fantasy romance. It is really long, but I didn't mind because honestly, it was really entertaining, and I really did not mind reading it. I love the banter. Everything was just. I didn't quite like the next two books in the series as much as I did this book, Bound to the Battle God. But overall, the whole series can be read if you like reading fantasy romance. Moving on to the next book, which is this is going to be like a quick explanation. Which is Sorcery and Small Magics. Both of these, the next two books that I'm going to be mentioning, are cozy fantasy. So the first one would be Sorcery and Small Magics, and it follows two sorcerers. Like they're both rivals. They kind of have to work together because a spell went wrong. So this is giving me, kind of like Emily Wilde books vibe, but make it gay. So yeah, I absolutely loved both the main characters. Their banter is just top notch. The angst is just okay. So yeah, it's also a new release, so just go check it out. Also, the cover is so pretty. Another cozy fantasy is of knights and books and falling in love. So this follows two knights right after the aftermath of a war. So both of them were on opposite sides of the war, and now they are, well, not, because the war is over. So yeah, we kind of follow them on their adventures and falling in love. Next would be Failure to Match by Kara Parsi. So Failure to Match is basically about someone who works in a matchmaker agency, and they have this billionaire client who is our hero. And every time like the matchmaker agency sets him up on a date, they it's a failure. Like nothing, it doesn't go any further. There is always something that the hero finds lacking. So obviously the matchmaking agency needs a win because like I think the hero's aunt is or something is like paying them, like pressurizing them, like why isn't like my nephew, cousin, no nephew, I think so. um why is like what kind of matches are you setting him up with? Like why is he not set up yet? Like I think he also needs to get married or something. I don't know, billionaire shit. So what happens is that our heroine decides she will do like an experiment. She will basically go there instead of the other date that is set up by their agency, and just see you know what goes wrong in their dates. So that is it. That is basically it, because from then on he kind of like she kind of like tries to teach him like the 101 of dating, I guess. Anyway, the reason why I'm recommending this book to you is because it just reminds me of those 2000 movies. Yeah, it just has those vibes, you just can't beat them. So it's just so good. The chemistry is there, the banter is there, everything, like there's comedy and steaminess and like this perfect combination. That I also would recommend you read A Deal with the Bossy Devil, also by Kyra Parsi, and In Love and War by Kyra Parsi. All three of this are just such good romances. Okay, so now that we have finished talking about books about romantic love, we are going to be moving on to books that are not about romantic love. These books do feature love stories, but they are not romance, let's just say. So the first book that I want to mention is Alone with You in the Ether by Libby Blake. So here we meet Aldo and Reagan. So Reagan is an artist and Aldo is a professor. And their relationship is definitely not like, it won't give you the spoon worthy feelings that reading a romance would give. It is very much toxic, and every time you get, like, not every time, but most of the time, you get this, thought in your mind like these two need therapy badly, and they definitely are not suited to each other, but they kind of are. So they like decide to have 6 conversations, as you do, and this will basically make or break up their non-existent relationship. Reading this book is kind of like a car crash. It stays with you, and car crashes are not good, obviously, but like it is memorable. This book is like an experience. Either you will absolutely hate it. I literally highlighted the book like I was back in high school when I used to basically highlight every single page. It was literally like a neon mess. I clearly loved it, in spite of the fact that this is, again, not a love story at all. But these two people, I feel like, are two halves of a soul, two sides of one coin. Aldo and Regan, they make sense to me. They don't make sense without each other. They kind of complement in a way, like, I don't know, the sun and moon does. They don't make sense without each other. And I think that's where the love is. Next is another book that is definitely not a romance, because most of it is just plagued by the war, Syrian war, so to speak. But I will never not like recommend this book. I will literally put this book in like any conversation that is happening. So the book that I'm talking about is As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. It is basically set against the backdrop of the Syrian war. It's just devastating. There's nothing remotely romantic about the setting. There's war, devastation, and everything that comes with war. I'm sure all of us are familiar with it unless you're living under a rock. Salama is a pharmacy student, but she cannot work as a pharmacy student because her education got cut off because of the war, and now she basically is moonlighting as a doctor with whatever experience she has. So the hospital she works at only has 2 or 3 handful doctors who are left there, and she's daily trying to help these wounded people. And then there is Keenan is basically he comes from a different background, and while Salama is trying to Salama is basically trying to, leave Syria because of her sister-in-law who is pregnant. So she's trying, they can't live there anymore. The nearby buildings are getting bombarded and they could literally die. Also, the hospital she works at, they could literally die at any moment. And even though she loves Syria, obviously, why would she want to leave? But she has no choice. On the other hand, Keenan doesn't want to leave. He very much is determined, even though he has family that he has to take care of. He has sister and a brother that he is responsible for, so he doesn't want to leave. They grow close together, and it's not like a platonic friendship. It maybe starts out that way, but eventually it grows into a romantic relationship. And you can read this book definitely because it does have a happy ending. You will cry, obviously. This is a very emotional book. I still would recommend you read it. The next book that is definitely not a romance, which is Swimming in the Dark. Swimming in the Dark follows these 2 college students, set during 1980s Poland. Definitely not a good time to be gay. There's that aspect to it. And there's also how do I put this? This is very much, again, another tragic book, another emotional book that takes a lot out of you when you read it, but it also rewards you. The writing is amazing. And also there are a lot of Baldwin references that I loved. So yeah, it's a love story of these 2 people who are just trying to survive and be in love, but the politics of the time does not let them, And yeah, this is definitely a must read. The next book is another, you could say, sad, emotional book, which is In Memoriam by Alice Wynne. In Memoriam follows these 2, they start off as kids, you could say, at a boarding school, and the war is going on, First World War, and all these kids, they are trying to, when will we grow up, when will we be the age so that we can also fight in the war. And yeah, they also fall in love in another time, when it was absolutely freaking forbidden. So we basically follow them from boarding school to the trenches, and it is gut-wrenching. It is absolutely definitely not a romantic read. There is just so much blood, so much gore, but the prose, the way Alice Wynne writes a love story against the backdrop of World War One is beautiful, heartbreakingly beautiful. That's how I would describe the book. So the next book that is not a romance. This is a time travel fantasy. I think that's how I would describe it. So the main thing is time travel here. So the protagonists are on two opposite sides of a war, and they kind of fall in love in the same way. Like, this is like an epistolary book. So the book I'm talking about is This Is How You No, This Is How You Lose a Time War. And I don't know if I mentioned this book here on YouTube before, but it is so good. It's honestly so good. I don't think is underrated, but it is not overhyped according to me. So like I said, we have two agents they call, and one is like works for a AI, and the other one like works on, well, not the AI side. And yeah, they fall in love through exchanging letters. Definitely go read it. Time travel again is a huge and important element throughout the book because it takes place like through different periods of time. So if you're someone who doesn't mind the idea of reading a time travel book, then this book, just go for it. Okay, so the next book that I read years ago, it's Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. This book is for those who are looking for books about platonic love. Eleanor is, I don't think most people would like Eleanor. She has major issues with social skills. She doesn't know how to talk to people. And she kind of forms a friendship with her office's IT manager, who is Raymond, and I absolutely love their friendship. So this book is definitely one that you must read, not just because of the platonic friendship between Eleanor and Raymond, but it's just an overall a really good book that I found really relatable as well. So yeah, definitely another book that is not a love story but is about love. We have come to the end of this video. We only have two more books that I am going to mention. A Psalm for the Wild Build. I think that's how it's pronounced. So, Psalm for the Wild Build is basically a friendship between a monk, a tea monk, and a robot. The robot is a wild build robot. So, the monk is someone who basically gives these advices to people and also like serves them tea based on their problems. The robot is someone who is trying to be human, something like that. So they basically go on this adventure, both of them, and they form this beautiful friendship. This book is short. It is kind of like a cozy fantasy, and it's also philosophical, but not like I don't like philosophy much. Like, it makes you think in a way that you feel good, you don't feel bad. It didn't take me out of the book, and I loved the friendship. I loved the way the friendship formed between the tea monk and the robot. Go read this. The last book that I have to mention is Heaven by Miyako Kawakami. Heaven follows a 14-year-old boy who is bullied constantly. He's kind of passive. Another classmate, Kojima, who also has been bullied, and they kind of form a friendship because of their mutual trauma. And the book basically explores, is this friendship going to go anywhere? Because the only reason that they are friends is because of their shared trauma. So can a relationship build because of the reason that it was formed in the first place? It basically deals with bullying, the whys, hows, how the victims deal with it, why do the person who does the bullying does it. It's also very philosophical, on the top of being heartbreaking. And yeah, I absolutely love the friendship between our narrator and Kojima. The writing is also very lyrical, and I love Miyako Kawakami's writing, and it's also very short. There is a lot in this book that it doesn't feel like, a lot, because the author manages to condense all of that in mere 200 pages. It's not a romantic book, but the depiction of friendship between the narrator and Kojima is, I think, is for me the highlight of the book. So yeah, these are some books about love that I would recommend you read. If you have read any of these books, then let me know. I would love to know. If you have more books about love that you don't see most people read or talk about, then let me know in the comments as well. I would love to read them. Yeah, that's it for today. I will see you in my next video. Bye.